657-8107 to join live. 800-348-1007. Send me a text if you like, 35192. Hey, January.
Hey, how you doing, Alan?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. Actually, I'm a female. I just have a very deep voice.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Hey, I'm the school bus driver that Mary doesn't remember. Mary.
What? You're my school bus driver?
Well, I texted in before, and I thought that you were the one that you said you had a friend named Nick that was a good friend of yours, and I swear I picked up a Mary and a Nick several times going to Berea High around that time, and I could have sworn it was you.
How could there be any other Mary and Nick on a school bus,
There
Mary?
weren't a lot of Marys that went to my school.
Come on.
I don't think there was a Nick on my bus, though. What part of the city were you around? I lived over by the airport.
Give the exact address.
No, I lived over by the airport.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. It was so long ago, but it was around that area, yeah, and you guys went to Berea High.
Do you have blonde hair, like short, spiky blonde hair?
At the time, I had shorter hair, not really blonde.
Yeah, this is not working out. Is January your name, or is that a nickname?
No, that's definitely my name.
Yeah, okay. What's up, January?
Well, I just was telling Poundcake, you were talking about potato chips and making that noise. And one time I was in southern Ohio, I used to live there, and my sister and my mother and I had gone to an auction, and we were waiting for the auctioneer to come up to the podium, and things were so quiet. You could have heard a pin drop. And my sister had gone to the concession stand and got a bag of potato chips. And every time she'd put a chip near her mouth, I would go really loud.
Yeah.
Like this. Right. So I just wanted to tell you guys, it's fun to do that.
Got a touch of the Rona in that laugh.
There you go. All right, thank you, January. I appreciate it.
Oh, my mom pointed out to me earlier that my dad didn't want me to go to college. He wanted me to be a bricklayer like him.
Sure.
And my mom wanted me to get an education. So
she wanted you to be an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Auctioneer college.
She wanted me to do that once I had already started doing comedy, but before I started doing comedy, she wanted me to go to college and do all that stuff.
She wanted you to combine comedy and auctioneering.
Yeah, auction off your merch. That's how you would do it. You do your regular set, and then you sell your CDs.
That's my time.
$50 bill, $50, $55, $55, and $60 bill. $60 bill and $5 to go, $65 and $70 go, $75 make it $5, $75 go, $80 bill.
Oh boy, you got an $80 bid for one of them Bill Squire DVDs. Pretty nice.
So are people who speak in tongues, are they just like practicing to be an aucauctioneer then?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I believe mentally ill is the phrase that you're looking for.
Easy over there.
I didn't say mentally
ill.
You say you're just not in control
Yeah,
of your
I'm
body.
the bad guy. People speaking a fake language from another dimension, they're just fine up there. You're right.
Okay, so anybody who believes in a religion is mentally ill?
They're not saying that God's using them as a... We're not getting into this again.
You're the one who's mentally ill out there, man.
Yes.
This is on you.
Religion is mental illness,
So
yes.
believing in a religion makes you mentally ill.
You believe there's an invisible man in the sky.
Lots of people believe lots of crazy things.
Doesn't mean they're not mentally ill.
Okay. So we're on record as Alan Cox thinks that anybody who believes in a religion is mentally ill.
I think if you believe in an invisible man in the sky who tells you what to do, that is a form of mental illness, yes.
Okay. Sure.
If you believe in a celestial dictator who has your whole life planned out for you, and you can't do anything that he doesn't want you to do, or he'll send you to hell, yes.
What mental illness is it?
Catholicism, that's how I grew up.
I'm saying you're putting it...
I grew up as a Catholic.
You're putting it on the same level as like bipolar and other actual legitimate mental illnesses?
I don't know anything about those. I'm saying it's a form of mental illness. If somebody were to walk up to you, irrespective of religion,
okay,
somebody goes... Any person walked up to you, not talking about religion, said, why do we think somebody that hears voices in their heads are mentally ill? And not somebody who prays or hears God talking to them. You know, I was reading about the guy that... Hobby Lobby, you might know. Yeah. Hobby Lobby refuses to close because they're a super Christy organization or whatever. They're the ones that wouldn't pay employees... birth control, whatever, right? Yeah. Hobby Lobby will not close because the CEO said God was talking to his wife, and they're going to be fine. And people who work there, don't worry about it because God's going to take care of us. Somebody posted the letter from the CEO online. Of course, it always has to do with, well, we might have to tighten our belts. It's always the employees who end up having to tighten their belts, right? We're to pray in times of prosperity, and we're to pray in times of danger. So far, so good. Mm-hmm. In quiet prayer time this past week, the Lord put on Barbara's heart 3 profound words to remind us that he's in control. You are a part of our Hobby Lobby family, but we will be fine. Many retailers are not as fortunate. They don't have a lot of debt. God has blessed this company. Basically, he's saying, my wife talked to God, and he said Hobby Lobby is going to be fine.
You say bless you in all this. You think God's going to bless your sneeze?
If somebody were to walk up to you and go, I was just talking to an invisible man, you'd say that he was probably mentally ill. If a disheveled guy walked up to you on the street and started saying all that stuff, you'd think he was mentally ill. What?
If religion didn't exist, sure.
But religion, what's the difference? Because it's organized?
It's organized.
Because
it's been around forever.
It's been around. Yes, a lot of things have been around forever.
That's fine.
What does that have to do with people believing what they believe?
People believe what they believe. Nothing.
Doesn't mean that they're not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Right? How do you determine that?
So having a sense of faith is a mental illness.
It's not about faith.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
You can have faith in a lot of things. I have faith in the sun.
Okay.
Because I can see the sun.
Sure.
Right?
You don't have faith in anything that you can't see.
No.
Faith, by definition, is believing in something you can't see.
Right.
Right?
I would say it's faith in something you can't prove.
Okay, yeah, prove whatever.
There's a lot of things that exist that we can't see that we know exist.
Well, we think they do.
I'm saying like microorganisms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess you get it down to a...
There are a lot of Jesus people who don't believe in any of this stuff. They think it's all made up. So all I'm saying is it's just context, right? Just context.
Yeah.
You believe people can... I don't know why are you grinning at me?
Because I'm not... There's no point in arguing it.
Well, I'm not arguing with you.
No, I'm saying that's why I'm grinning. I'm just saying
I'm
smiling.
You guys arguing it?
No, we're not arguing.
No.
I'm not trying to convince
like
you. I know it. No, it's silly. Not contrived argument.
No.
I mean,
It's not contrived. It
is if I'm trying to convince her of something. I'm not trying to. You took umbrage at me saying that religion is a form of mental illness.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person to say that, you realize.
No,
many people have said that.
People have made the connection of, if a person were to talk, I hear voices, or
I'm the 4 millionth person to mention this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh, that's all.
Well,
it's just a funny thing to just come out and straight up say, that's all.
Speaking in tongues.
Thank you, Jesus.
You think that lady's got all her marbles?
She's got some marbles.
Would you let her watch your kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something happens to the kid. He falls off a credenza. The kid falls off a bureau, and she starts doing. Oh, he'll be okay. Let's take him to Hobby Lobby. Anyway.
No, you're conflating it. You're making it seem like all people who are religious don't have any logic to them, which is not accurate at all.
I didn't say that.
But you're saying a lady who might also speak in tongues, that means that she doesn't believe in doctors and wouldn't take him to a hospital? No. We'll take him to Hobby Lobby. I'll pray for him. He'll feel better.
First of all, I don't know anything about that woman. I'm just saying you're off to a bad start with me if that's your opening line, right?
Well, nobody's opening conversation with that.
I don't know. This was a woman that was running for mayor in Toledo.
I understand.
Right? That's where that comes from. A woman who's like, would you let that person be in charge of your city? If Mayor Frank Jackson were like, you know? I mean, granted, he does a great job already, don't get me wrong. You know? Would you vote for her? Would you vote for her?
Well, it's no different than voting for somebody who's extremely Catholic. It's no different than someone who has those rooted values in a different religion. That's like saying you wouldn't vote for somebody because they were Buddhist.
No, it's not the same thing.
This guy believes in reincarnation. How could you possibly vote for someone who thinks he's gonna be a tree
because
one day?
he's That's not the way reincarnation works.
You get what I'm saying.
That's because they're not putting it into their public life. This was a woman being interviewed.
I'm not arguing with you over if I would have voted for that woman to be mayor or not. It's ridiculous.
As a former Toledo resident, I've never lived there. I don't care who runs Toledo. I hope she does become mayor.
Maybe she is. We don't know.
I got to give away some money here. All right.
All right.
We're giving away
Are
thousands.
you giving it away?
What?
Who's giving it away?
Well, the Rover Show is giving it away, but I'm on the air now, so yeah.
Rover's Morning Glory wants to help with a chance at $1,000. We have your shot at $1,000 right now. Text the nationwide keyword HOME, HOME, to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's HOME to 200-200. Good luck from 100.7 WMMS.
Yeah, all these people call me a dick. Fine, whatever. Are you going to go shop at Hobby Lobby? I mean, there are a lot of people who already don't do that on principle, but, you know, the employees in there, the guys like making them work. So on the one hand, like, yeah, you still got your job, but, you know. Yeah.
Well,
Alan,
good.
what about light? I'm pretty sure you can't see light. You can measure it. These are all things that you can quantify, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, like Bill said, prove, not see. You're right.
Yeah.
We're limited by our senses. Prove, not see.
And as far as social distancing go, if you are that into hobbies, you're probably pretty good at keeping social distance from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
That's
gonna be
why
in
all of
public
Joanne
anytime
Fabrics
soon.
is probably still up. I don't know. Those are, you know.
I honestly think it's okay to keep places like that open because people need things to do.
They need crafts. But
So,
and Walmart, Target, like
yeah.
places that have groceries and pharmacies in them too, you can get stuff. I mean, not as
there's people that
extensive
are,
things.
and there's
but
people that are like sewing masks and stuff, and they get that equipment and that those materials from a place like Hobby Lobby. So I don't know.
Alan, I just spoke to one of their managers. They are being forced to close today.
Take that.
they have to. It's illegal.
Yeah. I mean, if a guy is posting a letter saying, God told me to stay open, yes, you have to. That's a business you're going to have to force to
Okay,
close.
so here's my question then. What is the difference to you
They
in
closed
someone...
churches.
I understand. What is the difference to you in someone saying, God told me this, or I have a strong feeling and I'm going to follow my instinct?
What's the difference?
Do you trust the person who has a strong feeling and follows their gut?
Yes.
Okay, but
Well,
how is it any different?
No.
How is it any different?
Because the second person was smart enough not to tell me that God told them.
I get it, but I'm saying it's the same thing. I mean, it's kind
not
of
the same thing.
It kind of is, though. If you
No.
you can have it, you have an internal feeling of, I don't know, man. Everybody's doing this one thing, but something about it just doesn't feel right to me.
That's still
The
made
only
up.
thing that Christians are doing is saying that God told them that feeling.
No, not all of them. My parents.
lot of 'em.
I was raised Catholic, and nobody in my family said God's been talking to me. But that's how you're raised.
So you
if
don't-
you're raised with religion, you're raised that.
See, we're always
well,
taught
you're
that
going to be.
that's the Holy Spirit guiding you.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Is that
I mean, you
intuition,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
So that's what I'm saying. If you do you
Potato,
trust
potato.
people? No, do you trust people who say, I have a gut feeling, or I'm following my intuition, or things
really-
like that?
Not particularly, because it's just your feeling. If somebody, well, okay, it depends on what decision is being made.
And the other who the person is too. That weighs heavily into
If
it.
somebody says, well, my intuition tells me X, Y, and Z, like the goddamn president, right? My intuition. This guy knows nothing, can barely read, but all of a sudden he's going by his gut, right? My intuition, like Bill said, depends on who the person is.
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition, I don't know, that means nothing to me. So he goes, well, my intuition is going to be over soon. That
So,
means nothing to me.
I guess what I'm asking is that if somebody follows their gut or that's their reaction or whatever is, I don't know, man. I just have a real strong feeling that this is the
That's
right thing
great
to do.
for them. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. If somebody says, my gut tells me that we're going to, if it affects other people, whatever your intuition tells you to do, Godspeed. Maybe God is talking to you. I don't know that he's not.
That's
Speed.
Speed.
I don't know that he's not. Just because he's not talking to me doesn't mean he's not talking to other people, right?
Right.
All I'm saying is somebody tells me God's talking to him, I'm walking the other way.
Here's my
Because
question.
For some reason, God always tells him to be awful to other people.
That's not true.
Well,
That's
it's
just
true for a lot of people.
That's just what you hear about in the news and things like that. Because
So it exists.
The stories of people who say, "Oh, God told me to donate $2,000 to this charity," people don't make that newsworthy.
That
So
would be
you're-
newsworthy if somebody
but
said
it doesn't
God
happen
told.
as much.
I don't know that.
You hear about God told me to rob I had a knife and I used it because Jesus said. That's what you hear. You don't hear about the good stuff because it's not entertaining.
So you just proved my point for me.
No, I didn't.
Why is it always people who are
It's-
clearly mentally ill who quote God?
it's my point is that
Mental illness predates religion, I might add. I'm just saying that it's a pretty strong indicator of,
you don't hear about it because it's not entertaining. That's why. My question is to you, is following your intuition or your gut a mental illness?
Is following your gut? No, because it's just how you feel about things.
So what's the difference?
Because you're not...
My insides are telling me this isn't a good thing. My heart is telling me this isn't a good thing. God is telling me this isn't a good thing. How is one mental illness and one isn't?
Because none of them have anything to do with rational decision making. Your gut or your heart, that's shorthand for how people make decisions, right? But your brain is making the decision. And it's based on your experiences and your thoughts and your patterns, maybe your history, whatever, right? So if somebody goes, my intuition... I'm assuming that all that comes from something they know that I don't, right? Somebody goes, God told me. That's like a shortcut. Past all these other things that might rationally make sense. God told, why are you doing this? God told me.
It's the same thing as what I'm trying to tell you.
And
your intuition and your gut and those things are what, but the way you were taught is that those feelings are coming from God.
Well, then it's a semantic argument.
So that's what I'm saying. So you can't say that following your intuition is not mental illness, but when that intuition is labeled as God, now it is mental illness.
There are plenty of people who are intuitive or consider themselves intuitive who don't believe in God.
I understand.
I'm not going to be any more likely to take their intuition as applicable to me. Your intuition is applicable to you.
Correct.
I would never tell somebody, why are we going to do this? Because my intuition. My intuition might suck. I don't know.
I'm going based off of what you originally said with speaking to God as a mental illness.
I'm saying if somebody tells me that we're talking to God,
you think that they're mentally ill. But if someone tells you, I did this because I felt it in my gut, that person is not mentally ill. When it's literally the same thing with a different label.
It's not literally the same thing.
It has a different
I just
label.
told you. Because when somebody says, God told me, that's got nothing to do with them and what they think and hear. They're taking a shortcut.
As someone who has...
Intuition, what did I just say? What am I, speaking Chinese over here? Intuition is based, I assume...
You have been speaking in tongues this whole time, actually. It's just been...
I assume that when someone talks about their intuition, they're talking about things that they can bring to bear on their rational decision making, right? Well, this happened to me a couple of times before, so my gut tells me, don't do that again, right? Something that might surpass your neurons firing. It's just a feeling you have. I don't assume it's otherworldly. I'm sure it is for some people. That's different than somebody going, God told me to do this. Did your doctor tell you to do this? Nope. Did your clergyman tell you to do it? Nope. God told me directly. Okay. Well, good luck.
I can agree with you that those Abraham. Two can go hand in hand, that people who have a mental illness will, hear voices or this or say that it's God. But I don't think that it's fair of you to say that all people who say God talks to them are mentally ill.
It might not be.
Okay. That was my issue with what you said. Okay. That's exactly how, that's my issue with what you said.
It probably is unfair.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes in comedy you have to generalize.
Oh, I didn't realize.
But, but if a woman talking like that is going to run for mayor of my town, it's like, get out of here. You get.
You're going to get.
You get.
You're going to get. You're not going to get my vote. Jesus said no.
You get.
When we come back from break, can we talk about the coronavirus,
please? No. Alan, I'd rather listen to you talk about farts. You are in... Oh, I've got a new Nora clip.
Ooh,
yeah, now we're talking.
Perfect.
She sprung something on us.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, this is it's nothing scatological, by the way.
No,
it's unbelievable.
She's very smart.
We were both legitimately stunned the other night. And it also... in a time of massive quarantine, can also show you the power of television.
Simpsons reference.
No, that was Say Hello to My Ass. Say Hello to My Ass was the Simpsons reference. And we just ended up watching that. I think I talked about that, but yeah. Okay, listen, let me break. My intuition.